There's something incredibly exhausting about constantly trying to control life. You might not even notice it at first. You're just planning ahead, trying your best, doing what needs to be done. But somewhere along the way, your thoughts stop being tools and start becoming chains. You begin micromanaging everything: your future, your emotions, how people see you, what might go wrong. And even though you're doing all this work internally, the outside world doesn't move the way you hoped. That's when frustration builds. And worse, that's when resistance begins. You see, when we grip life too tightly, we unknowingly shut the door on everything that was trying to arrive naturally. We think we're creating stability, when in reality, we're creating tension. We think we're manifesting clarity, when really we're clouding the moment with worry and noise. The truth is, the more we try to control, the more we block. There's a strange paradox at play. Life flows smoother when you let it. It aligns faster when you stop trying to force alignment, and things finally make sense, not when you figure them all out, but when you stop trying to. Think about that. Every breakthrough you've ever had probably came in a moment of release. A moment where you stopped obsessing, where you surrendered, even if it was just for a second. That space allowed truth to rise, clarity to land, and often the very outcome you were chasing began chasing you instead. So the question becomes, what are you gripping onto right now that's causing your friction? What expectations are you micromanaging? What outcome are you trying to shape? What version of yourself are you trying to keep alive? Even if it's burning you out in the process, because the moment you step back, even slightly, you make space for something higher to step in. Not everything needs your pressure. Not everything improves through effort. Some things only blossom when you allow them to. And that's not giving up. That's real wisdom. Most people don't realize how much of their anxiety comes from trying to control things that were never theirs to hold. You wake up and instantly start mentally forecasting the day. What you should say, what might go wrong, how you'll respond if it does. You rehearse conversations before they happen. You worry about outcomes that haven't even arrived. And your nervous system? It stays in a loop, anticipating, over-preparing, bracing, all under the disguise of being responsible or staying ahead. But here's the trap. Control doesn't equal safety. It just gives the illusion of it. And illusions always cost something. They cost your peace. They cost your ability to be present. They cost your connection to life as it's actually unfolding, right now. The truth is, the more you try to bend reality to your expectations, the more fragile your happiness becomes. Because now, it depends on things going your way. And the second they don't, you spiral. You overthink. You blame yourself. You blame others. And the cycle repeats. But something powerful happens when you stop trying to control the script and start trusting the process. Instead of fighting with life, you start dancing with it. You become flexible. You adapt. You listen. You notice how things unfold without your grip. And ironically, this openness makes you more powerful than control ever could. Why? Because now you're in flow with reality, not resisting it. You're not just reacting anymore. You're receiving, responding with clarity, with presence, with power that's rooted, not rushed. Think about the river for a second. It doesn't get to the ocean by pushing the mountains out of its way. It doesn't control every curve in its path. It flows. And through that flow, it carves valleys, shapes landscapes, nourishes everything it touches. That's not weakness, that's wisdom in motion. So maybe it's not about forcing the perfect outcome anymore. Maybe it's about becoming the kind of person that doesn't need to force anything because they've built enough trust within to know that whatever comes, they'll handle it. Letting go isn't giving up. It's stepping out of resistance and finally stepping into alignment. Because here's what they don't tell you. Control often comes from fear. Fear of being abandoned. Fear of not being good enough. Fear that if you don't hold the reins tightly, your whole life will unravel. But what if it's the opposite? What if all that gripping is what's actually keeping things stuck? There's a difference between intention and interference. You can have a clear vision. You can work toward your goals. But when your sense of worth is tied to the outcome, you're no longer creating from a place of peace. You're reacting from pressure. Look at the moments when things actually started to shift in your life. It wasn't when you had everything figured out. It wasn't when you micromanaged every detail. It was when you finally surrendered. When you said, I'm done forcing. I'm done controlling. I'm just gonna be here and trust. And suddenly, that person showed up. That job called back. That solution revealed itself. Not because you pushed harder, but because you got out of your own way. You stopped fighting the current and let it carry you. You trusted that your intuition was enough, that your energy was enough, that your presence had power, even when you didn't have the perfect plan. And in doing so, you unlocked a deeper intelligence, one that doesn't come from logic or effort, but from presence, stillness, trust. Because the truth is, you're not here to force life. You're here to experience it, learn from it, move with it. And the more you trust that life is on your side, the less you need to control it. And the more things begin to align, naturally, effortlessly. So if you've been exhausted from trying to control everything, take this as your permission to stop. Let go. Not because you've failed, but because you finally realized you don't need to force what's already meant for you. You can't force a flower to bloom faster just by staring at it. But that's exactly what we try to do with our lives. We overanalyze, we interfere, we want immediate results. And in doing so, we end up interrupting the very process that would bring those results to us. Think about it. When was the last time overthinking actually helped you? When did trying to control every outcome ever leave you feeling lighter, more at peace, or more fulfilled? Probably never. In fact, the more we try to micromanage the flow of our lives, the more it pushes back. Life isn't meant to be a chessboard where every move is pre-planned. It's more like a dance. You move, it responds. You breathe, it shifts. And when you try to lead too hard, the whole rhythm falls apart. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you trust. It means you stop strangling the outcome and start giving it space to breathe. It's the shift from, well, what can I do to fix this, to, what can I become so this no longer controls me? You see, sometimes the reason things aren't working out isn't because you're not trying hard enough, but because you're trying too hard. You're resisting what's already trying to unfold naturally. The relationship that's stuck, the career that's stagnant, the dream that feels distant, they often don't need you to control them more. They need you to trust yourself more, to loosen your grip, not tighten it. There's a strange kind of magic that happens when you release your obsession with control. Your energy softens. People feel safer around you. Opportunities unfold in ways you never predicted. It's as if life was waiting all along for you to stop interrupting. And here's something even deeper. Letting go isn't just an external act. It's internal. It's letting go of your fear, your tight expectations, your need to be certain before you move. And once you release that pressure, you realize that the clarity you were chasing, it arrives naturally. It's the same reason you remember answers to tough questions right after you stop trying to remember. The mind opens up when we stop squeezing it. The same applies to your life. Letting go might be the most productive thing you can do. Let this sit with you. You don't have to control everything. You don't need to fix every emotion or predict every twist. You just need to stay open, aligned, and steady within yourself. That's the real shift. And that's when everything starts to change. Not because you forced it, but because you freed it. When you loosen your grip on control, something strange happens. You begin to actually see what's around you. Most people miss this because they're too busy trying to bend reality to their expectations. But when you let go, even a little, the fog starts to clear. Suddenly, that conversation you were forcing becomes natural. That opportunity you were chasing starts to chase you. And the pressure in your chest, it starts to lift. The truth is, control is often a disguise for fear. We try to script every outcome, not because we're confident, but because we're terrified of failure, of looking weak, of not being enough. But life isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to trust, to meet the moment as you are, not as some curated version of who you think you should be. And it's not just about letting go of people or goals. It's letting go of the version of you that's always on edge. The you that panics when things don't go as planned. The you that constantly asks, what if it goes wrong? Letting go means shifting to, what if it works out better than I imagined? We've been told that control is power, but in reality, flexibility is power. The person who can adapt, not just survive, but thrive when things shift, is the one who's truly in alignment. That's the quiet power people notice. That's the kind of energy that makes others feel calm around you. You're no longer frantically chasing. You're moving in sync with life itself. Because here's the secret. Life doesn't reward control. It rewards alignment. The more aligned you are with who you really are, your values, your peace, your truth, the more things start clicking into place. And it all starts with letting go of what you thought you had to be. Most people try to heal and fix and improve from a place of lack. But what if you let go of the need to constantly change and just accepted yourself as you are, right now? That's when real change begins. Not because you pushed harder, but because you allowed life to meet you halfway. Let go of the mental noise, the fake timelines, the illusion that you're behind. Because the truth is, you're right where you need to be. Not once you arrive, but right now, in this unfolding moment. The thing about letting go is that it doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never yours in the first place. All those imagined scenarios, all the pressure to prove something, to keep up, to be liked, to be perfect. None of that belongs to you. It was handed down by culture, by parents, by old wounds, and you've been hauling it around like it defines you. But the more you let go of those layers, the closer you get to who you really are underneath it all. You don't need a 5-year plan to be at peace. You don't need everyone to agree with you to feel secure. The moment you stop trying to make life fit a blueprint, it starts to unfold on its own, with less friction and more clarity. Look at people who seem genuinely calm. Not fake calm, but the real kind. They're not calm because everything in their life is perfect. They're calm because they're not trying to grip the steering wheel with white knuckles. They've learned to respond, not react. To trust their timing instead of racing against someone else's. And this shows up in your energy. People can feel when you're relaxed in who you are. You become magnetic, not because you're loud or flashy, but because you're real. You're not forcing a version of yourself. You're just being. And in a world that's constantly trying to sell us masks and roles, that kind of authenticity stands out. You don't need to micromanage your healing. You don't need to control every conversation, every result, every outcome. You just need to show up, to do your part and let life meet you there. Letting go doesn't make you passive. It makes you powerful in a way that's quiet but unshakable. And the irony? When you let go, you start to receive. Not because you gave up, but because you finally made space. Space for something real to enter. Space for clarity. Space for peace. Space for the right things to find you. Not the ones you had to chase, force, or manipulate, but the ones that belong. So here's the part no one tells you. Letting go isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning. It's the doorway. Once you release the tension of trying to control how everything should be, you start to see how everything already is. The right people stick around. The right path becomes clearer. The answers you were chasing start showing up, not because you forced them, but because you finally got quiet enough to hear them. You'll start noticing small shifts, how your body relaxes more often, how your mind softens instead of spiraling, how conversations become easier, how sleep feels deeper, how laughter comes more freely. That's not a coincidence. That's you realigning. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a practice. You'll have moments where your old habits resurface, where the urge to control or fix creeps back in. That's okay. That's part of the process. But each time you choose release over resistance, you grow, you evolve, you step further into who you're meant to be. Not someone perfect, but someone present. And if this message hit home for you, even a little, drop a comment below and let me know what part stuck with you. I'd love to hear how this landed. And if you want more videos like this one, hit that subscribe button and stick around.